We are less than a month away from kickoff for the 2014 NFL season. And it is time, for me anyway, to make my predictions, my first set of predictions for the 2014 season. So let's get started. And I'm going to try and make this short, sweet, and simple. Let's start with the AFC, because it's the crappiest division. Colts are going to win the AFC South by default. The other three teams, the Titans, my concern is the health of Jake Locker, who I think is a better quarterback than people give credit for. But my second concern, of course, so that's my only concern. They did. I mean, they finally did get rid of Chris Johnson, so at least that cancer's gone. The only reason why Chris Johnson missed one game since becoming the starter anyway, back in 2008, was because Chris Johnson doesn't like going for those tough yards. He may not be built that way, but he may not seem to be built that way, but that's bullshit. He's just afraid of the big hit. Nothing wrong with that, but when you're whatever. he definitely did not help the Titans at all in that aspect, so they had to get rid of him there. Jaguars, the whole quarterback situation's kind of fucking murky. They're just a year or two away. I do like the pickups of Clemens and Red Bryant and Toby Gerhart, who I think is going to surprise people. Everybody's going to already write him off, but whatever. And the Houston Texans, who are a talented group of individuals, but not a talented team. Though I do expect them to do better than 2-14. No. Plus, the quarterback is going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick, who I believe is a downgrade from Matt Shaw, but we'll go with that for now. So yeah, Colts win the AFC South. All right. AFC East, the Patriots win this division once again by default, but the Patriots, we all know the deal with the additions of Browner and Revis, of course. Though Brown's going to be suspended for the first 4 games, but whatever. Plus, hopefully, my concern is Rob Gronkowski and his health, and my concern is the Patriots receivers from a year ago. Can they improve? Of course they're going to improve, because Tom Brady's going to command them to improve. End of story. The Dolphins. I don't see the Dolphins making the playoffs. Of course, the Patriots are going to be the only team, obviously. The Dolphins have offensive line issues now, especially at center because of the injury to Mike Pouncey. Tannehill should get better. He needs to get better. Let's see how well he adapts to a new offensive system with the new offensive coordinator. Buffalo Bills, they've lost Kiko Alonso for the season, plus Jarvis Byrd on defense, and they traded away Stevie Johnson on offense after drafting Sammy Watkins. Okay, whatever there. Plus CJ Manuel is looking like a quarterback that's not going to improve from year 1 to year 2 right off the bat. That's a little. I saw the Hall of Fame game, or at least a little bit of that shit. Or at least parts of the Hall of Fame game, the one that matters anyway, just didn't look good to me. Just didn't look good. He kept staring down receivers instead of looking off defenders. That's a death wish for a quarterback. And the New York Jets are going to fucking suck. They're going to finish last place, in my opinion, because of the whole controversy with Michael Vick and Geno Smith. And it's a shame because the Jets, they have a really good collection of players on defense. They really do. But whatever there. Bringing in Chris Johnson, okay, he's a good player, but again, that doesn't change the fact that he's just in it for himself and not the team. Nothing wrong with that, but whatever. That should not. Whatever. I don't give a shit. Moving on to the AFC West. I do see Denver clinch this division. I think the Marcus Ware signing, and my concern is gonna help the Broncos because they'll be double teaming Ware, and they'll open up opportunities for Miller. Not just Miller, but other guys as well. The Chargers, I expect them to improve because I just expect them to improve from year 1 to year 2 with the Mike McCoy system, because I think Mike McCoy is for real. The Chiefs, I expect them to take a step back because of the offensive line concerns and the fucking tight salary cap, which is why they had to let go of Brandon Flowers. They had to get into the... Of course, Brandon Flowers is now with the San Diego Chargers. That's the risk you take when you have to release a player as opposed to just trading him. And the Raiders, well, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I understand they did pay small bucks, with the exception of Schaub, of course. Let me calm myself down a little bit. But you're still bringing in over the hill talent, guys like Maurice Jones-Drew past his prime. Matt Schaub, let's see how he does this year. Let's see how many games where he throws pick sixes this year. Let's see how many pick six throws that he makes this year. Justin Tuck, how much does he have left in the tank? It's going to have to come together in 1 year if the Raiders expect to make the playoffs. Hey, everybody expects the Raiders to... You can't expect the Raiders to suck forever. Well, yeah, but if you're not such a fucking homer douchebag, you can understand why everyone expects the Raiders to suck forever. So yeah, there you go. Broncos win the AFC West, but it's not going to be 13-3 like the past 2 years. The Broncos have had are going to have a tougher schedule than they've had the previous 2 years when they were facing schlubs and down on their luck teams. Really, the past 3 years, if you really want to get technical with it, with the Tebow bullshit. But yeah, I expect Denver to make the playoffs for the 4th straight year. That's going to be the first time that has ever fucking happened. But expect the Broncos to lose to teams that you don't expect them to lose to. And the AFC North, the Ravens are going to clinch the AFC North. The Steelers are going to clinch that out of the wild card spots with San Diego, of course. I just think these two teams, the Ravens, I think the Ravens are going to be really good this year. Offensively, they've got some talent. They've picked up players, and Des Pitt is going to be back. Knock on wood. That defense is going to improve from last year. My concern is Joe Flacco. Yes, he threw for over 4,000 yards. A career high in passing yards, by the way. He didn't. Or at least near 4,000 yards, whatever. But it doesn't change the fact that he threw 19 touchdown passes to 22 interceptions. And meanwhile, Roethlisberger, he has played great the last year, of course. Kind of hard to fault him when it was the defense. Okay? And of course, Brian Clark is now gone. He's back with the Redskins. Of course, whatever there. Kiesel's gone as well, and another player, which I don't have time to get into, because I want to make this quick. Bengals are not going to make the playoffs, not just because they lost Jay Gruden, but because they lost Mike Zimmer as well. So now the Bengals are going to have to learn a new defensive system, and that's going to take more time than learning an offensive system. So yeah, whatever that. And the Browns, well, what more can I fucking say about the Browns? Quarterback controversy, it should be... I understand Hoyer's not that good a quarterback, but it should be Hoyer's job, period. There should be no quarterback competition at all. But but the problem is the fans are going to be unreasonable. They're going to, and at some point, Manziel is going to have to be in there. He's the least NFL ready of all the first round quarterbacks. Manziel is the least NFL ready. Less NFL ready than Blake Bortles. So there you go. So fuck you. All right, moving on to the NFC. Again, trying to make this quickly. NFC East, I expect the Washington Redskins to clinch the division with the addition of Deshaun Jackson, because the Philadelphia Eagles let him go, and just the slimy way the fucking Eagles did that, trying to make themselves look like the good guys at the end, when in reality they didn't want to fucking pay him. When Deshaun Jackson Deshaun Jackson had the best season of his career last year. But okay, we'll go with that. Their defense is good, but they need to come together. People think the Philadelphia Eagles, I understand the Eagles are going to win this. People think the Eagles are going to win this division, but that's, the Eagles are facing a tougher schedule now, and I don't see that happen. And I just simply don't see that happening this year. They're going to be they might beat the Panthers, but when you have to face the NFC West, not fucking happening. I'm sorry. The Giants, my concern is now Eli Manning has to deal with the new offensive coordinator and a new center because of the retirement of Chris Snead. So that's my concern there as well. If you don't like my concerns, fuck you, okay? And the Dallas Cowboys. Losing DeMarcus Ware hurt, but it didn't hurt that much and it's not going to hurt to lose Sean Lee again, because those two guys were there. We're playing. They weren't playing every game. Sean Lee was obviously suffered a season injury last year. Sorry for not getting words out correctly, but fuck you. And again, don't like it. Fuck you. Okay, I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. But anyway, Sean Lee suffers another season-ending injury, but he suffered that season-ending injury last year. But even before that, the Cowboys still sucked on defense. So what the fuck does this prove? Either team could win this division, but I'll say the Redskins win this division. The other three teams, you can figure it out for yourselves on how they're going to rank, but whatever. All right. NFC South, Saints are going to win this division. Falcons will improve. From a year ago, but they'll fall, I'd say, one game short out, missing the playoffs. This is 1.0, by the way. I'll be making another prediction when the preseason ends, just so you know. But I expect the offensive line to get better. That was the biggest concern. My concern for the Falcons last year was they were way too predictable when it came to Tony Gonzalez in and out of the huddle. When Gonzalez was in the huddle, the Falcons were passing. When he was on the fucking sidelines, the Falcons were running. I mean, you can't fucking you gotta show some more unpredictability. Problem was, Gonzalez was getting old. He didn't feel like blocking anymore. Not that he was a good blocker anyway. He was a good pass catching tight end, but not a good blocking tight end. And you gotta do both. You gotta do well at both areas. Which is why the tight end position is one of the most difficult positions in the National Football League. As far as the Panthers go, they're going to take a step backwards because Greg Hardy's going to be suspended. It's going to be bad. It's going to be worse than the Ray Rice suspension. That's for damn sure. And of course, Ray Rice is going to have to deal with a lot of hate and a lot of lynching. If America did not automatically forgive Michael Vick, Ray Rice has no fucking chance. I'm sorry. Whatever. Plus for but back to the Panthers, losing Steve Smith hurt, but I understand why they got rid of him. I just don't agree with it. Especially now, since they also lost Brandon LaFell and Ted Ginn. Granted, not those two receivers, not that big a deal, but then you're gonna have to deal with new wide receivers, which is a big fucking deal. I don't care what anyone says, but yeah, the offensive line, that's my biggest concern now, because of all the retired players, including Gross. So now they have a new left tackle. Great. And the Buccaneers, well, not much to say about the Buccaneers. They're going to go last place because of the quarterback. Great defense. Good defense. A lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. And a good, they did draft a wide receiver in the first round to complement Vincent Jackson. But they could have still gone forward with Mike Lennon. I'm sorry, I'm still sticking by that. Just because you like Josh McCown better than Jay Cutler, doesn't mean he's going to be great. He's going to be better. He's a journeyman quarterback. Fuck off. Tell me to fuck off. Fuck you. Let's see. All right, and NFC North, some bold, stupid predictions there. The Chicago Bears will make the playoffs. They will clinch the NFC North. I think that's going to happen anyway. I'm running out of time. The Lions have no excuses this year. Jim Schwartz is gone. So if they don't make the playoffs this year, they have no one to blame but themselves. I'm sorry. But they're loaded offensively, and they're pretty good defensively. They have depth at almost every position on offense, and whatever. My concern is the offensive line, but whatever. But every team's got it. But since when does every team have a good offensive line? That's not how it works sometimes, especially in today's NFL with free agency. So here's my bold prediction. In other words, stupid prediction for now. I will say it now. It is a stupid prediction. But the Green Bay Packers will miss the playoffs. Because my concern is Aaron Rodgers' health, Clay Matthews' health, how much Julius Peppers has left in the tank, and will Eddie Lacy be a one-shot wonder? Alright. And the team in last place will be the Minnesota Vikings. I expect Bridgewater to start right off the bat. And that's all I got to say about that. It's too bad because the Vikings actually have a good football team, with the exception of the quarterback, just the one position in question, quarterback. I understand they're playing outside, but it's not like the Minnesota Vikings. It's not like it's going to be cold in September and October and November. Okay. All right, let me finish up the NFC West. Last chance. Seahawks are going to clinch the division. My concern for the Seahawks, though, is the fact that Richard Sherman is on this year's Madden cover. But but I think I understand Calvin Johnson broke the curse 2 years ago. But very rarely does it happen, and that's just my concern. The 49ers. My concern for the Niners is the injuries and the possible suspension, just the injury of Navarro Bowman, and the possible suspension of Aldon Smith, because I really think people are underrating the loss of Navarro Bowman. He's not as good as Patrick Willis, but he's close to that. I mean, the only reason why he is getting the numbers is because of Patrick Willis and the fact that they have to account for him. But that doesn't mean that he's a lousy middle linebacker or whatever, or an over. And it definitely doesn't mean he's overrated. Aldon Smith, yes, as overrated as he is, it's still important to have him just to keep the pressure off of Justin Smith. And yes, but I still stand by this though. He's only good because of Aldis is only good because of Justin Smith. So I'll just leave it at that. Plus the weapons on offense that they've picked up, that they now have. They now have Crabtree, of course, hopefully healthy. Anquan Bolden, who got snubbed in this year's countdown. Stevie Johnson from the Buffalo Bills. And of course, Vernon Davis. And of course not to mention Brandon Lloyd. We'll see. My concern is, will they cut him at the end of training camp, or at least at the end of preseason? So yeah, that's my big concerns there. The Cardinals, the loss of Darrell Washington is going to hurt this defense. Don't kid yourself here. I'm not going to say they're going to go 5-11 and shit like that, but they're not making the postseason, which means they're damn sure not making the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, I just don't see it happening. I don't see it ever happening. If it was going to happen, why not the Saints last year? And don't give me because of the stupid and staged Bounty Gate storyline. All right, let's call it what it is. Even if it was true, they still could have. Roger Goodell could have laid out the punishment in 2011. I don't care if they, he could have sent that message. He could have at least sent that message in 2011. I understand. I mean, whatever. The whole situation's fucking. The whole situation's fucked up. But I'll just leave it at that. And the Rams, who will probably be competing with the Cardinals just to stay out of last place. All four of these teams have good defenses. We all know that. But my concern for the Cardinals and the Rams have always been on the offensive side of the ball. Sam Bradford, if he's not healthy, if he's healthy, it's either he's not healthy or he's not consistent. Okay? Carson Palmer, he wasn't consistent last year. That whole victory last year, that victory against the Seahawks, where Carson threw 4 interceptions, you know what that means? It means it had more to do with the Seahawks losing the game than the Cardinals winning the game. Let's call it what it is. So yeah, Seahawks win this division, Niners come in second place, and the Rams and the Cardinals, well, it could go either way. I say the Cardinals third place and Rams fourth place. I've heard this bullshit many times where the Cardinals are going to be better. They're going to be better. Problem is they're trying to be the Tennessee Titans. Think about it. They grabbed Cortland Finnegan in 2012. They grabbed the tight end Cook from Tennessee in 2013. And then they get Kenny Britt in this year's free agency period. What the fuck ever there. All right. That's it. That's all. Till next time, later, fuckers.